Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Time to talk about some new upcoming releases once again. Some fragrances that you guys have to look forward to in the near future. So what do we got today? Well, we've got a new Prada Luna Rossa, a new Cool Water, a new Tom Ford, and a new Lacoste that actually was announced before that I forgot to cover. And then a couple other random smaller releases as well to kind of fill it all in. You know, the icing on the cake, or whatever analogy you like to use there. I'll have a link in the description where you can find more information on the fragrances that I talked to you guys about here today. You can find them at iFragrance Official, and also some of this you can find at scentadvice.com. And I guess actually, the first thing that we should talk about, the first order of business, is a fragrance release that I talked about in the previous This Week in Fragrance. And that was a new upcoming PDM Parfums de Mer release. But here is the deal with this one. There were notes that were circulating online, pictures that were circulating online of this new release called Imperious. And it looked promising, actually. The note breakdown that was rumored looked good. Apple, vanilla, rum, oud, saffron. Like, yeah, that actually sounds exactly like something PDM would do that would smell awesome for fall and winter time. The issue with this one was that people were kind of up in the air whether this was real or not. And I said that in the previous This Week in Fragrance, that it may not be an actual upcoming release. And maybe, who knows, just Parfums de Mer trolling people. That's a possibility. And the main reason it looked a little iffy is because that name was not trademarked. So what typically will happen with a big fragrance brand when they're gonna come out with the release is they'll trademark that name. And sometimes it happens way ahead of time. There have actually been designer fragrances that have had names trademarked for years before they actually come out. So if you want to waste a lot of time, like, you can look through and try to find trademarks from these different brands and then be like, oh, I think they're gonna have a fragrance by this name in the future. I don't know when, but probably. The fact that there was no trademark for this one made it look a little iffy, because if you're gonna come out with a fragrance in like a month's time, you probably want to have that done, right? But anyway, Parfums de Mer Imperious with those notes, the nice bottle and everything, according to iFragrance Official, is not real. I was talking to them about it. They said they reached out to their sources and that it's not happening. So be aware of that. But who knows? Again, maybe this is PDM big brain trolling us and they're like, oh, it's actually fake, but it's not fake. Uno reverse, we're putting it out. But I just wanted to throw that out there that apparently, as of right now, that looks like it is in fact a no-go. All right, let's talk really quickly about the new Tom Ford. This is dOmbre leather. This is obviously a flanker of ombre leather. You can tell that fragrance is doing really well for Tom Ford because they are fleshing that line out. You know, originally it was in the Private Blend line, then in the Signature collection, and now this is its second flanker. Notes as of right now are listed as amber, vanilla, leather, and spicy notes, so not a whole heck of a lot to go on right there. And this information was gleaned from Influenster, which is, I think, a company that like sends you stuff and you basically get it for free and then you review it. It's funny, you would think that I would be signed up for Influenster or something, or even know how this stuff functions, but I am not. I'm on the website right now. This is how it works, according to the website. Sometimes brands give away their newest and best products for free because they want honest opinions about them. Interested? We thought so. Vox boxes are packages filled with these freebies, just waiting for your considered opinions. We have something for everyone every day. Can seriously just anybody sign up for this thing and just get stuff for free? I want to do this for like everything. Hey, I need a new refrigerator. I'll review it. Feel free to send it to me. I really need to sign up for this thing and just get like some free t-shirts, maybe, free car, I'll review that. Apparently this information was gleaned from Influenster. Searching through right now, I don't see it on there, but it's possible maybe it was and then it was removed or something. Maybe they did a boo-boo and put it up too early. that does happen. But anyway, back to the fragrance. It says, Ombre Leather Eau de Parfum is the original, and Eau d'Ombre Leather is the more intense version. This one is a wildly radiant composition merging rich amber, vanilla, glowing leather, and invigorating spices. Glowing leather, that means it's from the Fallout universe. And as is mentioned on the website here, it seems to be an eau de toilette, but then in the description it's described as being more intense. So I would actually think, you know, by the name Eau d'Ombre Leather, that it would be like a somewhat fresher take on the original. So some conflicting info there based off of just the description and then the name and everything else. But if you are a huge fan of Ombre Leather, good news, new one coming your way. Let's do the Cool Water next, and then the Luna Rossa. Davidoff Cool Water Reborn Intense Eau de Parfum is a new fragrance for men under the Cool Water collection. There's a lot going on there. Cool Water Reborn Intense Eau de Parfum. And that's because they already have Cool Water Reborn, the original, I guess you would call it Cool Water Reborn. That was 2022. Then we had Cool Water Reborn Eau de Parfum last year. And so now you have to combine those. Now it's Intense Eau de Parfum. I wonder if Cool Water Reborn is doing pretty well. I mean, I would assume it's, you know, doing up to their expectations, considering that this is the third in the line. The original Cool Water Reborn, I was not a massive fan of, actually. I thought it was kind of forgettable. Yeah, we'll say forgettable. Just try to be, you know, nice about it. So we'll see how this new Intense Eau de Parfum version is. The brand says, they say you only live once, but you never say how many times you can be reborn. In like a literal sense, I guess you could kind of be reborn if you die and they bring you back to life, maybe? How many times, they never say. You probably want to keep that preferably to 0. I would say that's probably the number of times you would preferably be reborn in that sense. But in terms of remaking yourself, I guess you can do that every day of the year if you wanted to. Davidoff Cool Water Reborn Men's Eau de Parfum Intense is a powerful reinterpretation of the iconic Cool Water for Men fragrance, the legendary men's fragrance that was born 3 decades ago. Reflecting the vibrant energy and tireless power of the sea, this Eau de Parfum Intense for Men is presented as a powerful, sensual, woody fragrance whose green and earthy top notes of galbanum are enhanced by vetiver and amber undertones. I do have to say one thing about this, just in general. I know that I have complained about this. Some of you guys have complained about this. The whole 3-note breakdown thing. Yes, it simplifies things. It does keep it very, very streamlined as far as the note breakdown goes. But man, is it boring. Oh, 3 notes. Cool. So basically with this, we have next to nothing to go off of. They basically just tell you, oh, this is a reinterpretation of the original. But is it really? No, it's really not. It's galbanum, amber, and vetiver. Guess what the note breakdown was for the original one? Cool Water Reborn, I mean. The original Cool Water Reborn. Galbanum, vetiver, and rosemary. So 2 of the notes were the exact same. It's just rosemary has been swapped out for amber. Wow, intense. And then Cool Water Reborn Eau de Parfum. What was the note breakdown there? Oh, it was galbanum and vetiver, but cedar this time. So all 3 fragrances in this line have 3 notes. 2 of those 3 notes in all 3 fragrances, galbanum and vetiver, they just swap out the mid note. They're like, rosemary, wrong, now it's cedar. It's a totally new fragrance, guys, wrong. Now it's amber, it's totally new again, it's reborn. I know that they can smell completely different and that the note breakdown is not the actual fragrance. There's more going on there than just 3 notes. But what I am saying is, in terms of a marketing perspective, or from the perspective of somebody reading about the fragrance, that's not much to get excited about. And for your average person, I would say they're gonna see a note breakdown, galbanum, amber, and vetiver, and be like, galbanum? I don't know what that is. Then they're gonna go amber, vetiver, That's it. That's okay. And Cool Water Reborn, to me, was, again, kind of a bland, like, blue fragrance. Wasn't very much to get excited about. And then I haven't smelled Reborn Eau de Parfum. Apparently, it's a little bit better. I'm just saying, like, this is not sounding very exciting. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's really good, because you can typically get these on the cheap, but I'm just saying, put a little more effort in. All right, let's talk Prada Luna Rossa, the new iteration, the new entry into the line. And interestingly enough, the second Luna Rossa released this year. So Prada just really hammering the Luna Rossa line and basically just letting us know, hey, the Prada L'Homme line, we don't care too much about that. Now, Prada, I mean, if you want to keep making Prada L'Homme, you know, you give us some new stuff. I'm here for it. A lot of us would love that, but it looks like, at least reading the tea leaves, that is not what they're doing. So this is the new Luna Rossa Sport 2024. Now, in case you were unaware for some reason, Luna Rossa Sport was indeed already a thing. It came out in 2015, so almost a decade ago. That being said, it does not appear that the new iteration of Luna Rossa Sport is the same as the original. And if I'm honest with you guys, the original Luna Rossa Sport, not my favorite Luna Rossa, actually. I liked the original more, I liked Extreme more, I like Black more, I like Carbon more, I like Ocean more. For my own personal taste, Luna Rossa Sport was better than Eau Sport, which came out in 2016, but that's pretty much it. It was better than Eau Sport. Let's read about this new one. The new Eau de Toilette for men from the celebrated Luna Rossa saga invigorates the senses as it embodies the challenges a courageous man overcomes. The composition boasts oriental keynotes such as fragrant lavender, spicy ginger, and a powerful hay accord. This fougere blend urges the wearer to take action with the rush that fills your body with adrenaline. All right, we're getting out there. Prada Luna Rossa Sport comes encased in a bottle that is an ode to the world of sailing, symbolizing strength and determination, which characterizes the sporty character. The contrasting colors of red and silver, which is distinctive to Prada. That's how it's written, okay? I know that sounded like a jarring change from one sentence to another. That's just how it's written. The man who wears this fragrance is in an ongoing state of competition as he competes with himself before competing with others and goes beyond his limits. That's deep. That's real deep. The contradictory elements in the blend shed light on the powerful feelings accompanying him daily. This is like a Linkin Park song. It's like, we got powerful feelings that I'm dealing with. I have to compete internally with myself before I compete with others and push myself beyond my limits. These contradictory elements. I'm breaking the habit tonight. Notes of ginger and juniper fuse together like the crashing waves and pave the way to tobacco accents. Tonka bean, along with the irresistible aroma of vanilla and fragrant lavender, guarantee a better longevity. So yeah, in terms of the color scheme, it's pretty similar to the original Luna Rossa Sport, though this one does look a little bit slicker, I would say. The bottom, based off the picture here, looks like it has more of that rubberized kind of feel like Luna Rossa Carbon does on the bottom of that bottle, only here decked out in red. And then of course the red top as well, the red glass. The original Luna Rossa Sport had red glass at the bottom and then like a metallic top to it, like a silver metallic. So this one I think does look a little bit cooler, like just the bottle itself. It looks a little nicer. The note breakdown there, based off of the description that is given, ginger, juniper, lavender, tobacco, tonka, vanilla, and hay, which is not the exact same, I think, as the original Luna Rossa Sport, but it's pretty close. Because the original Luna Rossa Sport, it depends on where you look. Like some websites will have different note breakdowns, but it had the lavender, actually a good amount of lavender, juniper, ginger, even had that hay note in there as well. And then vanilla, that's another one of the big notes in Luna Rossa Sport. You know, it's like a little powdery action to it. Powdery, fresh, clean, kind of, you know, par for the course with Prada. And it does look like, as of when I'm shooting this video, that this one is available at Prada's website. Like if you go to Prada Beauty, you can buy this right now. The 100 mil looks like it's sold out, which is 120 bucks for a 100 mil. Honestly, not that bad. 50 mil is 95. Now, obviously I don't have the fragrance, so it could be that they've very slightly tweaked the note breakdown a little bit, but it's largely the same. It's also entirely possible that this is what is becoming par for the course right now, which is what I think this probably would be, which is taking a fragrance and putting a new little modern twist on it, putting it out there in a new presentation. I have not seen that happen so often as I have here recently, you know, especially with Armani, where they have been just taking stuff and being like, hey, let's re-release this. We're gonna change it a little bit. But we're gonna re-release it. YSL did that with Y Eau de Toilette. Armani has done it with literally everything that they have, it feels like. And now it would look like Prada is doing that with Luna Rossa Sport, which, again, like if you're gonna bring one back, bring back extreme. With this relaunch with Luna Rossa Sport, there for a couple years, actually, maybe even more than a couple years, has been so much smoke around this one being discontinued, being removed. And then they actually had like L'Oreal reps where you would reach out and they'd be like, oh yeah, it has been discontinued, but then it was still available on Prada's website. And there was always a lot of confusion with that one. Like, is it here? Is it not there? It's getting harder to find. Is it gone now? I don't know. And then basically this, they were like, yeah, that old version, that one's gone, but this new one is not. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy this one. I didn't realize that it's already for sale on Prada's website. Basically, as soon as I stop filming, I'm gonna go ahead and order it, get it in, and see just how close it is. And, you know, I'm actually hoping that this is a little different and better. There we go, Luna Rossa Sport 2024. That is becoming something that is way too common. Same fragrance name, put the year after it. Dior Homme 2020, Luna Rossa Sport 2024, Acqua di Gio Profondo 2024, etc., etc. Let's talk Lacoste next. Lacoste Original. And this one I have ordered already from Europe. It is not here yet. And I like the look of the bottle. It looks pretty nice. The cap reminds me of like Boucheron Singulier a little bit, the way that it's styled. And then the bottle looks, I don't know, kind of like in the style of like Bleu de Chanel if you rounded the corners or something. Looks classy. The new Lacoste Original Eau de Parfum draws inspiration from the brand's irrefutable sophistication. You can't refute it. The new fragrance is an interpretation of modernity with an intense and different signature, a fougere woody blend that makes you stand out from the crowd. The fragrance starts with a blast of citruses melded into hot spices, while the heart reveals aromatic sophistication using lavender and clary sage and concludes with the woody base of sensual sandalwood and earthy patchouli. The bottle comes in a minimalistic design, adorned with the signature Lacoste colors of green and white. So note breakdown, pink berries, which I'm going to assume is pink pepper, bergamot, lavender, clary sage, sandalwood, tonka. Note breakdown is nothing too nuts. I mean, it's notes that we have seen a million times, used together a million times. But I will say that Lacoste fragrances, even though they typically don't get a whole bunch of hype, are usually well done. It's a house that consistently puts out fragrances that are worth owning, that are worth wearing, especially if you pick them up from a discounter, because they're usually not too expensive once they hit discounters. They usually do have like a sporty kind of freshness to them, at least most of their releases, but then it's very common for them to also have, like they say here, kind of a sophisticated edge to them, an irrefutable, you might say, sophistication. So while this note breakdown is not anything nuts, you know, it's nothing where you're like seeing some out of left field notes where you would just be like, oh wow, how's that gonna come across? I have faith that this will be surprisingly good. My expectation is that this is going to be a year-round type of fragrance, something that has just extreme versatility to it. And I have high hopes that this will be one of those Lacoste fragrances that punches out of its weight class, that is way better than you would expect. All right, let's wrap it up with a couple of Nikos fragrances, a couple sculptures. Sculpture Reverie and Sculpture Air de Lune. We'll talk about that one first, Air de Lune. So Nikos, in case you are unaware of the sculpture fragrances, these from discounters, usually really cheap, like really cheap. Some of them you can get in that $20 range, sometimes less. So these are gonna be ones that I would not expect to have any kind of like groundswell immediately or anything. You know, nobody's gonna be like, oh my God, it's available now, get it. But maybe keep your eyes open for them. And if they hit a discounter for a good price, probably worth scooping up. I like the look of the bottles too, pretty nice. All right, let's do the note breakdown here. It's got mandarin orange, tajit, plum, orange blossom absolute, praline clove, bourbon vanilla, patchouli, and musk, which honestly is a pretty cool note breakdown. See, Davidoff? They gave us more notes. Like, what if you look at that note breakdown and it just said mandarin, orange blossom, musk? You'd be like, okay, But you add the other stuff in there, the plum, the praline, the bourbon vanilla, and suddenly you're like, what's that? Well, what'd you say? That sounds pretty good. Not sure exactly, you know, how like those notes and the name and the bottle playing together in the sense that the notes, yes, you know, you've got some fresher ones in there, but by and large, that reads like a fragrance that would be for fall and winter time, I would think. Praline, clove, patchouli, bourbon, vanilla, plum, like none of that is screaming to me, summertime. But then the name of the fragrance, Air de Lune, and then the bottle is kind of like teal melding with purple. So I don't know, but it sounds pretty interesting. And we have seen a lot of fragrances over the past few years come out with things like that, praline, plum, bourbon, vanilla put together. And it sounds pretty nice. It sounds like this could work really well. And if it is very inexpensive when it's discounters like I would expect, it could be a little hidden gem cheap. And next up we have Reverie, another nice looking bottle, nice gradient on it. Note breakdown here, chili pepper, black pepper, red pepper, cherry, and saffron off the top. That is a lot of red notes. Orange blossom, amber, rose, and broom in the mid, and then cacao, bourbon vanilla, patchouli, and musk in the base. And in case you want to Google it, what does broom smell like? According to Google, it smells like the scent of orange blossom with undertones of tobacco and lime. There's lots of reading that you can do if you want to educate yourself on that. So the first one sounded great. This one also sounds great. Where are these note breakdowns with the big boys? What's going on? You hit me with the chili, the black, and the red pepper. That's a lot of pepper. Then we got the cherry and saffron. That opening sounds nice. And then as it dries down, amber, the broom, cacao, and bourbon vanilla. Sign me up. So there we go. A couple sculptures. Keep your eyes open for those. Get those on the cheap. Hopefully they will be good. Of course, there is always that risk that you run with cheap fragrances, that you buy them and they do indeed smell cheap. And then you just get hit with a synthetic mess of notes and you go like, could have been awesome, but it sucks. Hopefully that's not the case. So there we go, guys. Some new fragrances coming out your way, and also an update on one that is probably not coming our way. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.